welcome to another drum lesson. This drum lesson is called the doubling technique. And the doubling technique is a technique that you can use to spice up your drum fills, your drum beats, and your overall drumming. And it's a relatively simple technique to use. To start off, I'm going to show you what a double is. And we have a single, and we have a double. A single, and a double. A double is just when you hit the stick twice. You double it up. There are a few methods to doubling up. One method is the bounce method. And the bounce method is when you actually bounce the stick. Your wrist goes down one time, but your stick bounces twice. And you achieve that just by putting some pressure on the tip of the stick so that it bounces again, and then you catch it. Another method to doubling is to wrist it out. And that's when you actually use your wrist to hit the drum twice. And a final method to doubling that we're going to talk about is the dribbling method, and that's when you use your fingers to sort of dribble the stick. And I'm going to do it slowly so you can see. I get a pivot point with my fingers here, and I use my remaining fingers to dribble the stick. I'll do it slowly so you can see. So a double, you just dribble twice. We're going to start out by doubling on just a basic 16th note drum fill. So we'd have 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. That's the drum fill we're going to use. We're going to first use leading hand doubling. And the leading hand is simply the hand that you start the drum fill with. In my case, it's my right hand. We are going to double up the leading hand every time we switch a drum in this fill. Now that's actually going to work out to be every number. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. So slowly, you have a double on 1 E and a, 2 E and a. Then on 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Now just so you can hear the difference between the normal fill playing the single strokes, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. It doesn't sound bad, but it's not bad enough. We're going to double it up. Instead of only doubling on the 1, 2, 3, or 4, you can also double on the ands, which is actually will be every single time you hit your leading hand, the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And I'll show you that. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. When you speed it up, you get a nice sounding fill. And that's doubling up every time I hit the leading hand. If you limit yourself to only doubling with the leading hand, you'll be limited to only doubling with the leading hand. So you want to practice also doubling with the secondary hand. The secondary hand is just the hand that you use secondly. It's not the leading hand, it's the other hand. We're going to use the doubling technique with the secondary hand on that same 16th note drum fill pattern. We're going to double up on the E's. So it's going to be the second hit on each drum. 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E. Let me play that a little faster. Another method to using the doubling technique is to double up on the 16th note hi-hat beat. And the 16th note hi-hat beat is just 16th notes and the snare on 2 and 4. And then you can throw in a bass. Now that's pretty geeky, but we can really spice it up by throwing in some leading hand doublings and maybe some secondary hand doublings. So let's kick the regular beat. That's with straight 16ths. Now let's double. The final way to use the doubling technique that we're going to talk about is double doubling. Double doubling is when you have a double-double. So you'd have a double with your leading hand, and then right after that, a double with your secondary hand. You have double-double. We can use a double-double on that 16th note fill pattern that we've been doing. The first 2 hits on each drum are going to be doubles. Double, double, hit, hit. 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Now when we put that in time, in a normal tempo, it's going to sound like this. And that's the doubling technique. I hope you find it useful. Keep drumming.